Right, we should be recording now. The last time I tried to do this, I rode for about an hour. I thought I was recording, I wasn't, so yeah, hopefully, because I haven't used this camera for so long, I forgot how it actually works. Yes, we're blinking. You should. Should be running. So, I'm out for a ride on a very, very cold Sunday morning on new to me, right slippy underfoot as well actually, 650 V-Strom. I'll do a little, I don't know, mini review I suppose. There's plenty of reviews. I'm going to try and do a full sort of review with all the specs and all the rest of it. Because there's enough of those on the net already. I might say a bit about why I chose this. Why I chose the V-Strom. Hopefully you'll enjoy the ride a little bit as well. Yeah, very, very cold this morning. It's about 5 degrees or something. So, be a bit careful on the roads. The roads are still had a lot of rain, so the roads are a bit greasy. Plus, it's very, very cold. We're riding very conservatively today. Yes, very conservatively indeed. I haven't even put the heated grips on, have I? Put the old heated grips on. Put them. Yeah, V-Strom 650. Apparently they sell a lot more of these than they do the 1000, and I can sort of see why, in a way. Well, quite a few reasons why, I suppose. This is a big bike, physically big. I mean, it's almost too big for me. I'm 5'7", 30-inch inseam or something. Thick soled boots. I can get 1 foot flat and just about touch my toe on the other side, or I can sort of have 2 tiptoes down, 2 almost balls of my feet down. Well, I do have to be very mindful about putting my feet down when I'm coming to a stop at a junction, what the road surface is like, which way the camber goes, all that stuff. Do have to be very mindful. So anybody who's shorter than, certainly shorter than about 5'6", you're going to have to be very confident. You can slide your bum off the seat, you know. There's techniques for very short people to ride big bikes, but it wouldn't be for everybody. Yeah, and the 1000 is, I believe, a little bit taller again, and also significantly heavier. This is about 215 kilos wet, this one, which by some standards is pretty heavy, by other standards it's not massively heavy. But yeah, and also this, plenty of people do 2-up touring, long distance touring on the 650. I mean, it's more than capable. It's a really strong engine. This is the one out of the Gladius, and the Gladius is a development of the SV 650. So basically, it's a very, very strong, long-lived engine, proven engine, run forever. I think this one's slightly differently tuned for a bit more low down torque, but not massively differently tuned. It's a lovely engine. It's a V-twin. It's got a nice character. The camber means I'm going to put my right foot down there. So slightly less of a reach on this side. So I've got my foot flat there now, that's fine. And this one, it's just about sort of on the cusp. I keep it outside under a cover. All the things that I've put on it, plus the cost of the bike, I've put things like heated grips on it, this on it, double USB socket on it. I've spent about £3,500. And I wouldn't really want to spend more than that, or get, you know, anything nicer or more exotic or newer, and to keep it outside under a cover with an extremely substantial lock and chain, with it padlocked to something. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't, you know. I'd feel bad leaving some Exotica outside. I'd feel bad about leaving it outside, and I'd feel bad about the possibility of having it nicked. And for £3,500, this, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to go around the world on it or something. I'm not exaggerating. This would be more than capable, and a good choice to do something like that. Hands are warming up nicely now. I want to do a trip down to Portugal next summer, after we've all had our COVID vaccines, etc. My little boat that's in Portugal, I fancy riding down via the south of France, along the French Mediterranean coast, up into the Pyrenees, into Spain, and then down to Portugal, and probably get the ferry back. Sounds like a nice little trip, or a nice big trip. But yeah, this bike is very well suited to doing something like that. You sit on the motorway at 70 to 80 miles an hour all day in comfort. Good wind protection. Oh, I did put this screen on actually. The original screens are never that good in my experience. The factory screens are never that good, so this one is one of those jivvy airstreams. You can adjust it up and down, and it's brilliant. So yeah, I spent about 3,500. Yeah, super comfy, good weather protection. Got a massive following as well, these V-Stroms have, V-Stroms in general. And I can see why. The quality is good. It's not high-end quality, but it's not bargain basement quality either by any stretch. It's pretty good, I would say. Ride all day with my visor up. Which is really pleasant as well, especially when it gets fogged up with the really cold weather. Now, I'm not going to do so much talking today. This is mainly just to get some footage to play around with a new video editing software, OpenShot, free software. I'm going to have a play around with that and see if I can get improve the quality of these videos for something to do. And I quite like doing them. These are pretty economical as well. I think this one's. I think one of the menu things on the computer there. There's a computer of sorts on here. It's not very sophisticated. It's relatively analog. The bike. I'll do it in a minute. I think it will tell me what the lifetime average. Oh no, the 63.6 mpg. I think is that what I'm getting at the moment? 63.6. I don't know whether that's a lifetime average. Anyway, I'm scrolling through. I don't know if you can see me scrolling through the menu items there. I don't know if you could see me scrolling through, like those zeros there. 18475, that's the mileage. 399.2, that's one of the trip meters. 63.6, that's an MPG reading. 95.8.9, another trip meter. 63.6, that's the same again. I don't know. Need to work all these out. It will also tell me the outside temperature. I press and hold this thing on the left handlebar. 7 degrees at the moment. Don't know if you saw that there, that little 7 degrees. I'll put that back on the time. You can alternate that between the that's gone back to the time now, 10:15. It's got a gear indicator on it, which is a really nice thing to have. And obviously the tacho is the big dial. It looks quite nice. It's a little bit small maybe, some of the numbers to read, but I think it's quite nice. So yeah, they're pretty economical bikes as well. Again, if you're doing long trips, you know, 60 mpg is brilliant. 20 litre tank. You could, if you were really good, you could squeeze 300 miles out of a tank. Anywhere between 50 and 70 mpg depending on how you're riding. Again, going back to the height and the size of the bike and all the rest of it, just things like that, you know. Slow down earlier than you have to when you're coming up to a little crossing or something. Means you don't have to put your feet down. Anything you can do to minimise having to put your feet down. I need to adjust the throttle free play as well. There's a bit too much free play in the throttle. That's just adjusting the thing there, so I'll do that at some point. Put those up a little bit more. Almost warm hands now. I think in the UK, riding in the UK, there's so much traffic as well. Having a physically big bike is not a bad thing either. It gives you a certain sort of presence, and people don't try and bully you out of the way if you're on this. If you're on a little 125, they will absolutely bully you out of the way every opportunity they can get, but not on something like this. So yeah, that's not a bad thing. I don't think there'll be that many out today actually, although the weather's clearing up a little bit. Yesterday was pouring with rain a lot of the day. I don't think there'll be that many people out today, it's so cold. It's got a nice laid back character, I feel, this bike has. And that again, you know, yes, you could easily lose your license on it, and you can hoon around on it and have fun on it. Remember the SV650 spawned the Mini Twin Race series, so you know it's a good engine. You know, you can have fun on this for sure. But it does have a nice laid back character. Physically, it's pretty much exactly the same size as the Triumph Tiger Sport 1050. It's not as powerful, it's not as fast. It's got a more sort of laid back character. Haul a ton of luggage. Haul an absolute ton of luggage if you want to do that. I've got to get rained on. Just going to go to Eastbourne via Burling Gap. That's a nice little detour via Burling Gap on the way to Eastbourne. Stop in Eastbourne for a coffee, and that'll be about it for today really. I suspect most of my riding I suspect will be what I'm doing now, with a pair of sunglasses on, visor up. It's a lot less busy through here than it normally is. So that's New Haven, Seaford next. Relatively low geared this is. I can't remember exactly how many revs I'm doing in 6th gear on the motorway. In 6th gear, 70 miles an hour if I remember, you're doing about 5,000 revs, which is halfway basically. Suzuki gearbox, super slick, super smooth. This is the first Suzuki I've had actually. Mostly had Hondas. Again, so I'm slowing down here, rather than just pulling straight up to that van in front. Hopefully, I don't need to put my feet down, I can just... Oh, the messing about that I had on the Triumph. I tried about 4 or 5 different screens on the Triumph before I got one that reduced. That was so bad for buffeting. That bike. That one was transformed by what was the name of it now? I can't remember the name of this. A screen that was adjustable up and down and adjustable for angle as well. What's the name of it? This is the only screen that I've bought for this. Everybody says get the Airstream. That's the one that sorts this out, and it does. It's great. It's a 5th gear there. 5th gear, 45 miles an hour. Less than 4,000 revs. Yeah, very low geared. Lovely day. Yeah, loads of pull. When you wind it up, it sounds quite nice as well. This has just got the stock exhaust on, and I wouldn't change that. You don't want a long journey with some ridiculously loud pipe on. I absolutely wouldn't change it. But when you wind it up, it does sound quite nice with the standard exhaust on as well. And out of the 3 different models available now of the 650, the Mark 1, which I've seen higher mileage ones, 50,000-60,000 miles, I've seen them go for like 1,500 quid, as low as about 1,500, and it's a great bike for that money, and I wouldn't worry about the mileage either, because they're very long-lived engines. So yeah, anything from 1,500 for the Mark 1. I think new, the new Mark 3, like 7,500-8,000, I think, something like that. This is the first year of the Mark 2s, the 2012 one, which I think is the best looking, actually. I'll tell you why, is because the Mark 1 is all sort of quite fat and bulbous looking. This one, they streamlined the styling, it looks a lot sleeker, and it's the pre-beak model. Why is it with beaks on these new motorbikes? They all look like a wasp or some insect from the front with a silly beak on. What's that all about? So this is the best looking, in my humble opinion, also in the burnt orange colour as well. In my eyes, a very attractive motorcycle. Some people think they're extremely ugly. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So yeah, we're just going through Seaford now. These grips are really nice and toasty warm now, and I've got these 2-finger instead of 4-finger gloves, Rucker ones, Gore-Tex. Expensive, but they work, and I think they're actually snowmobile gloves, marketed as motorbike gloves, because there's no knuckle protection or anything like that. I mean, they could do with some better armour. I'm sure they're snowmobile gloves. But yeah, they're warm. Wouldn't fancy not having hand grips. Hand grips and these hand guards keep the wind blast off. You could go all day in these temperatures, no problem at all. With my fingertips aren't cold anymore, and that's normally the problem. The fingertips are still cold even if you've got hot grips and good gloves. threat of a rain cloud, the odd rain cloud. That car park's normally full, one car in it. The camera's just beeped at me for some reason, I don't know why. Hopefully it hasn't stopped recording anyway. Looks to be still beeping, flashing. So I think it's still recording. No shortage of grunt, that's for sure. Absolutely no shortage of grunt. I think going back to the 650 versus the 1000 debate, you know, I think you could have more fun on this one, based on the principle of it's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than it is to ride a fast bike slow. I think, you know, in the twisties or in the mountains or whatever, you're going to be using more of the performance of this than you would the 1000, so therefore it's a bit more fun. Just go and turn right here now, go around Burling Gap, little twisty road. are very wet, these roads. In lots of these places around here you can just stop and have a walk or whatever. Very pleasant. Really bumpy road surface actually here. The only suspension adjustment you've got on this is you've got adjustable preload on the back, that's all. I heard somebody say 2 up with luggage, the rear shock really struggles a bit. So maybe if you were wanting to use it for that, you'd replace the rear shock. Get something a bit beefier, but for solo with luggage, so it's fine. 6 gear, 50 miles an hour, not much above 3,500 revs. That shows you how low geared it is. I'm not going to go mad round here because the roads are very greasy. Yeah, normally a lot of traffic round here, a lot of people parked up and having a walk. Not so many today. Beachy Head. Lovely views from up here. Beautiful. Beautiful. The Eastbourne's down there. Fuel gauge on there as well, which is very useful. There's no rider modes or anything like that. No rider modes. A cable clutch, which is fairly light. Brakes are okay. ABS. The Mark 1, the Mark 1 might have been an option to have ABS, but I think it's standard on the Mark 2, so yeah, this has ABS. Eastbourne over there. Clouding over a bit, I hope it's not going to rain. That little road that I normally go down there is closed for some reason. Don't know why. I normally just go down there and along the seafront. Turn the grips off. I'm not actually sure where I'm going here. And that was bad. I actually cut that cyclist up. I mean, I wasn't going to hit him or anything, but that wasn't very good, was it? I don't know where I'm bloody going now. If I go down there, that'll bring me to the seafront. I get lost. lost in Eastbourne. Where the bloody... that way, I think. I can see the sea. I can see the sea. Or can I? Yes, I can. Ha ha ha. Oh, look, a recumbent bicycle. Right, having sorted myself out, beach cleaners, very good, nice one. Volunteer litter cleaners. Yeah, that light on the camera is still blinking, so I'm hoping I've got all this, and hope that anyone who is watching it, assuming it does end up on YouTube, has enjoyed it in some small way. I'm just going to park up now and get myself a coffee, and then at some point head back. Free bike parking just up here, some little motorbike parking bays. There's Eastbourne Pier. Usually find dirt. Thank you. Here we are, sunny Eastbourne, and I will park. I'm not going to park nose in, else I'll never get it out again. Here we are. Let's switch that camera off.